Hey, this is Nige Rockett of Onslaught, and you're listening to the Metal Teddy Bear Experience with Chris.
And welcome back to the Metal Teddy Bear Experience here on 90.3 WMSC up in Montclair. This is your host, Chris. I have a very special guest on the line. I have Nige Rockett of Onslaught. What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good, thanks, Chris. How are you? You good?
Pretty good. Just drank a lot of coffee. I've been dying for it today. It's probably my third cup, which actually is not a lot when I talk to my friends because they say they have like 64 ounces just in the morning.
All right, yeah, that's cool, man. I'm a massive coffee fan myself, so yeah,
Nice,
I
nice.
get where you're coming from.
So where are you calling from right now?
I'm in Bath, in England, southwest England. Old Roman city, very very nice place. So yeah, it's cool.
Sounds cool. I mean, I always hear such great things about England right now. I was talking to someone from Wales too, and they said it was just like really great weather, just nice time to be there. Like I think August, they said is actually a good time. And
Yeah, yeah, it's generally there are some really nice parts of the UK. You know, it's not my favourite country. I'm probably because I'm stuck here, but there are some nice places in the south and the west of the country, and obviously Wales and Ireland too. So yeah, I mean, if you've never been.
I definitely have to go. I'm sheltered to being here in Jersey. I mean, I'm in the U.S. The farthest I've been was Canada, Montreal.
All right, okay, no, that's nice too. So, but yeah, you must come at some point, especially Bath. I mean, it really is a beautiful place. It's an old Roman city. It's only small, but it's real nice.
Well, for someone like you, it must be hard right now being quarantined and staying at home during like I think you guys usually go out for like at least 2 years on tour, right?
Yeah, I mean, we generally look at 2 year tour cycle after. So yeah, it's a bit of a nightmare. We were scheduled to do North America, Canada, October, November, South America, and obviously UK and Europe as well. From September this year, all that's kind of gone down the drain.
Wow.
We had our work visas, everything in place for the States. So it's a massive pain that we've got to kind of go through that whole process again. And obviously costly as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say you don't get those costs back. That's a huge blow to the band, and then you can't even make it up because you can't tour.
Yeah, that's right. So the thing is, we lost California Death Fest and Maryland Death Fest. They've been rescheduled for I think April and May. But our quandary is what do we do? Do we obviously have to apply for our work visas again? But will the shows go ahead? I mean, nobody really knows, do you? I mean, the visa process is quite lengthy, so it means we'd have to start applying maybe end of this year. And we could lose all that over again, you know, if it doesn't happen in April and May. So it's a real gamble what we've got to do.
It's crazy because not only like you guys, let's say you guys are putting in for your visas to renew it and stuff like that, because you're going to be able to go play shows again. That means like a lot of other bands, and not even just bands, just other people who need their visas to tour or do anything they do. It's going to be a huge process for a lot of the countries.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. So, I mean, we're trying to keep ahead of things as much as we can, but it's just certain things you just can't do. So, a lot of it is just sitting there with your fingers crossed,
Yeah.
hoping it happens. Really, that's all we can do right now.
Definitely. And you guys actually just put out a brand new record, Generation Antichrist. Earlier this month, it was August 7th via AFM Records. And how was it releasing this brand new record during all of this, during not being able to tour?
Um, it was a decision we took. We didn't take it very lightly. We had lots of discussions about it because obviously we could see many other bands postponing their releases. But also we've seen the likes of Testament and Lamb of God proceeding with their album releases, you know. So kind of said to us that they're obviously they don't do things lightly. They've obviously thought about it a lot. That they proceed with theirs. So we thought, okay, let's look at the positives. And obviously there were no shows or festivals around the world anywhere, basically. So we felt if we put the record out, we're going to get a lot of attention, I guess. Fans are still going to want new music, and I think it will give us an advantage when the shows do start again, in the fact that the album's thankfully doing very well. The fans are liking it. We're getting a lot of press coverage, and hopefully we can be at the front of the queue um, with the promoters when the shows come back. I think when this does eventually clear, there's going to be such an amount of bands trying to put their albums out at the same time, and also looking for shows. As you said, it's just going to be crazy. Everything's going to go into overload with so many people trying to do the same thing at the same time. So we're trying to keep ahead of that a little bit. Obviously, there was the risk that we can't go out and promote this live, but amazingly, guys like yourselves and all the press have been on our side, and we've got masses of exposure. Obviously, we got a limited run on that, so it's what we do next. We've got to try and build on it somehow. So I guess the only thing we can do, aside from hopefully booking these shows, is to start writing new music, which isn't ideal for us, but we need to keep, because we never know when it's going to go away. So we need to be prepared. Who knows? We might have to release another record before this eventually goes away and we can tour properly. Who knows? So we have to be kind of prepared. Otherwise, we're just going to die in the water.
Yeah, definitely. It's a very it's unknown waters right now for everyone. You don't know what to do. At least some people are, like you said, like trying to keep ready by writing a new album. A lot of people actually kind of feel inspired to write because of all the like right now it's kind of like a negative time out there. So a lot of people find inspiration from that, and they could write some songs about that. Probably really depressed and a melancholy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, we've started. I mean, I've got the way I like to work. I like to get all the album title and all the song titles together before we actually write a note of music. To try and paint a kind of picture of what the album needs to sound like. And I think I've got 5-6 titles together already, so we're pretty close to being ready to start writing the actual music. But the song titles are very dark, as you mentioned, and obviously very reflective of what's going on now. So I think it's going to be the next level of anger or whatever again for me personally. So yeah, it might not be a bad time for me to start writing some more music.
That's pretty awesome, and it's kind of funny that you say your song titles are a little bit darker because you already have songs that are kind of like addicted to the smell of death. It's
Yeah,
perfect day to die. That's
yeah,
pretty awesome.
we go to the next level from there.
There we go. Well, this is actually a very solid record. Only 9 tracks, which is kind of short, but with today's attention span, I guess the hot spot is like 30 to 40 minutes.
Yeah,
You guys get into. And you guys
I mean,
got really good reviews for it. I think it was Blabbermouth. I saw you got almost a 10 rating on it. Yeah, it's been solid.
yeah, it's been incredible. The reviews have been out of this world. But again, yeah, that was the intention. There was loads of little things that I'm so impressed with people picking up on. As you said, this day and age, people's attention span can be very short. I think metal fans are a little bit above that. It's not like the pop mentality where we take one track off the album and then skip to the next one. I think metal fans do give albums a chance, but what we wanted to do was make sure that when they give us that chance, we don't let them go. We just keep them by the throat, and you will listen to this and you will like it. So we kept the song short, we kept the minutes down on the album, and we kept the gaps tight in between the tracks, just to make it so intense, and so that the listener gets that intensity. And it seems to have paid off. So yeah, I mean, I don't see the point of putting 12 tracks on an album if only 8 of them are good. Just write eight or 9 great tracks and leave it at that.
Exactly. No, I'm always for that because sometimes when you see like an album with 10 to 15 12 or 15 tracks, you're kind of like, oh man, maybe I won't listen to this album right now.
Yeah, I know the feeling.
Yeah, because like you said, metalheads, like when I first get an album, I listen to it from start to finish, and then after I'll go and find out what I liked and individually listen. But when you first listen to that, that's why like for those prog bands that have like really long albums, I'm just like, all right, do I really want to devote time to this right now?
Yeah, it's like the short tracks, and then they grab you, and that's it. You're in, and then it's finished before you even realize it, and the next one starts. So wow, it's like this is intense, and it makes the time go quicker as well.
Well, speaking about just having tracks that like hook you in, would you ever be interested in just dropping like a single right now? Like a lot of bands have been doing that instead of actually releasing full albums. Because again, the argument is people don't have the attention span anymore to listen to 9 tracks, which is crazy. But they're losing that time.
No, it's not some. We're pretty old school in the way we think, and I'd still kind of stick to the formats that we do. I think we're going to stick out a single once we're sure that we're going to be playing shows again. I think we're going to put out a single then, but it's going to be we recorded the track "In Search of Sanity" from the "In Search of Sanity" album. It's obviously got this production that we have on Generation Antichrist and Dave Garnett on vocals, and it sounds incredible. So I think the fans are going to be kind of interested to hear how that's going to come out. I think it's put a whole new light on that song, particularly, and the album maybe. So that's going to be, I think, a single that we're going to do once we know the touring is going to start again, just to kind of start the profile again. But yeah, I don't think we'll be a band that just put out a single that wouldn't be on an album. I don't see that as a very metal thing to do personally.
Yeah, I like how you said that, the metal thing to do. Yeah, because it's true. It's usually a hip hop artist or pop artist that do that. I know some bands are kind of like dipping their toe in the water, like they're seeing how it works for them. There was a band called Acacia Strain where they released 2 songs off the album every couple of months, so you actually got to focus on those 2, and then the album
Yeah.
came out.
All
So
right.
bands are
Okay.
trying things, yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, because I noticed Lamb of God put a lot of the tracks out off of their album. But again, it's all down to budgets because you obviously need a video to go with that to do that, I guess, in this day and age. So it might be something we do in the future, but I couldn't ever really see releasing just a song that never appears on an album. That seems a bit too random for me. And a kind of waste of time of your writing, I don't know. That's how I look at it personally.
How's the promotion like been for this album? Has it been tougher because you can't tour, or has it been like you're just letting the PR guys take it over?
Well, we've worked as hard as we can on our social medias. We've had obviously our label PR in the States working on it. We've had Skateboard working on it, and we've also had Adrenaline PR working on it with us, and they've all been fantastic in the States, and we've seen the numbers have just rocketed since those guys have been working on this album for the last 2.5 months, I guess. So yeah, incredible. As we can see exactly what's going on. I know it's only Spotify, but it does give you your daily figures, even I think, or weekly figures, so you can see who's listening. I know it's only on that kind of format, but it gives you some inclination of what's going on, and the numbers have been out of this world.
Well, that's good. I mean, shout out to APR Adrenaline. They're awesome. Great group right there. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's great that you got to see analytics from it. I know Spotify analytics actually has been huge for bands. I thought the cool feature, I think Korn was talking about it. You can look up what song gets played the most in what region or what country or something like that. So when you do
Yeah.
tours, you're like, hey, Germany really likes this song. Like they really like Strike Fast, Strike Hard. Let's play it. You know.
Yeah, it's amazing. It really is. I mean, the singles that we've released off the album are nearly on 750,000 streams already, just on Spotify, and it's just outrageous figures. But it's so cool to have them to hand to see, because you can target your marketing on all the social media stuff as well. So it really helps.
So speaking about the album and recording and writing, which track stood out to you as like a very important track, the one that you probably connected with the most?
I think Religious Suicide probably.
Is that why that was the single?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't actually choose that for the single. The label, we let the label decide, because we knew it was going to kind of be a bit controversial. and it did stop us marketing that video properly in the song. YouTube wouldn't let us promote the video. Obviously, it was played on YouTube, but they wouldn't let us make any promotion on their site. Same with Facebook also. They wouldn't allow any kind of promotion on it because it was deemed overly violent or overly controversial or whatever, or it's likely to offend somebody. So, but what it did do, again, it's one of those short, sharp shock tracks that really hit a note with people, obviously people talk about the lyrical content, but the track was so brutal at the same time that it really sort of woke everybody up to Onslaught releasing another record. So it worked massively in our favor for that track, and it was just pure stripped back, bare, aggressive thrash metal, and that's what I love about that track so much. And for me, it's probably my favorite track on the album at the moment.
You guys had 7 years off, I believe. Did that did you focus those 7 years on writing, or was this kind of done in the past couple of years?
We were touring all the time. We released 6 in 2013. Toured the world for 2 years, which took us up to 2016, which was then the 30th anniversary of the Force album. Lots of demand, lots of requests to play the album in its entirety. So we thought, yeah, let's do it. We love touring so much. Any excuse to go on the road is good for us. So that 1 year anniversary turned into a 2 year tour, and we went around the world again and again. The label were kind of, guys, come on, it's been too long now. We need a new album. It was like, wow, we didn't even realize where the time had gone. We're having so much fun touring and playing great shows in all these weird and wonderful countries. Just didn't realize where the time had gone. So I think the last tour we finished up on was September 2018, and we started writing immediately. So it was pretty quick. I mean, the writing was wrapped up within a year. And we started recording January this year. So once we got our heads around it, it was a quick process, but we just kind of lost 7 years. So we're not going to let that happen again.
Well, at least you got time to tour. You got all your touring in for those years.
Yeah, it's making up now. Just punishing us now for the...
Imagine if you took off like 4 years and then this happened. You're like, come on.
No, nightmare. So yeah, we had a great time, but it was too long. But I think there was a unique set of circumstances, so we won't be doing that again, I think.
Well, speaking about anniversary shows and playing full albums in the entirety, Soilworks Bjorn, he talked about how depending on the band, this can actually hurt the band when they're trying to book shows and book tours, because promoters know how much money those anniversary shows can make them, and then they ask you like, hey, can you do this tour, but you got to play this album, and he's like, no, we just put out a brand new album, we want to support that new album, and then they're like, nah, we'll get someone else.
Yeah.
Have you heard of that or agree, or what's your opinions on that?
Yeah, I've heard of it, and I agree. It can be a negative going forward. We had it. We were trying to book something just in between when we kind of finished writing. We were looking at booking a short run of dates, and promoters were going, oh well, let's go out and can you play the Power from Hell album this time? Well, no, we don't want to play that album in its entirety. The fans haven't been asking for that, and we've just done 2 years on the Force. That's like we're concentrating on new material now. But I can exactly see what they're saying, and I kind of, as much as it was great to do, it's a kind of it's turned into a bit of a problem. So I'm hoping now that we've had this break with the new album, that's kind of going to go away. But I do see that's happening. And if you look at festival bills all the time now, all you see is such and such playing this album or that, and it's oh god, why did we ever get involved in that? It's like, but yeah, hindsight's a wonderful thing, but maybe as much as we enjoyed it, it could have negative effects in the future. I hope not. But,
It's funny. It's like you think about it, and it's so common now. But you're like, when did it start? Like, when was the first man to like make it a thing? Because like I know like they've been doing
yeah,
it for a very long time, but like now it's like every band when they come back, they do. I feel like they do a new album anniversary tour, and then they do a new album cycle and anniversary tour.
yeah, that's interesting. I'll have to look at that. I can't recall when it actually started. When I remember, I'm sure somebody like Maiden or somebody might have done something like that, Maiden or Metallica. I don't
Metallica's
know.
been doing that for like just anniversaries in general. I feel like they're just like, yeah, we just like playing shows and playing our music.
Yeah, making loads of money. But yeah, I don't think we'd do it again. Although it's kind of bizarre, we've had lots and lots of requests from fans already to play this album in its entirety. And
I
it's
was
only been out 2 weeks.
I was just gonna ask you that because the alternative, there's some bands like Mastodon used to do this where they would basically play, let's say there's like 10 tracks on the record, they would play like 6 or 7 new tracks already, like basically the whole new album. And I thought that was really
Mm,
cool because as I'm an avid concert goer. I see bands like I go to shows once a week, or I used to go to shows once a week,
yeah.
and I saw Mastodon like 10 times. So it's cool when you get to hear all that new material and some of the old stuff, and then like when they come around again, they mix it in. So would you be willing to play most of the new album?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the guys have been mentioning it already. It's sort of how much it is that we're going to play. I mean, obviously, to do that would rely on the big success of the album, because you don't want to alienate some of your fans by saying, "Oh, we're playing the whole of the album." No, they don't want to hear that. They want to hear everything mixed in. But if you know you've got a big success album, it could really work. Especially the album being like 35 minutes long, it still gives you another 40 minutes, 50 minutes to play all the other stuff, which you could incorporate quite a lot of old material. So that could work with a shorter length record like we've got. So I'd love to do it because I think the every song has got its attributes to play live. I mean, we always tend to try and write songs that are going to work live, but I think it's really come out on this album that every one of these songs could go down very well in a live situation. So who knows? It might be a good selling point for us when the shows start again.
Well, I know you guys have been around for like decades, and but I feel like you guys don't have that problem where you have old fans like that are like diehards, and they're like, I won't touch the new albums. I feel like your fans are pretty loyal, or they just like everything you guys put out because you guys have pretty positive comments on when you guys put out new albums or songs. You're not like one of those bands that like, oh, all this new's terrible.
And we're very careful and very respectful to our old fans. We never do. I think we kind of. It wasn't necessarily down to us with the In Search of Sanity album where it kind of lost direction a little bit. That was more kind of label influenced, but the songs should have sounded pretty much Onslaught, even though the album doesn't. But on the last since we've been back 2006, I mean we've seriously considered every song we write and how it's going to go down with the old fans and trying to bring in new fans at the same time. So it's I think we've kind of made it work, and I think on this album we've got the balance really really right this time. It's kind of got that old school Onslaught feel to it from like 1986, the Force album, which we took a lot of influences from on this record, and brought the really modern, crisp, aggressive production, and it works really well. I mean, I've not had any complaints from the real die-hard old school fans, which is always a good sign. You know you're onto a winner when the guys are saying, "Oh, I'd like to hear a bit more of this," and they're loving the album. So it's great.
For anyone tuning in right now, you're listening to 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. Your host, Chris, the Metal Teddy Bear Experience, with special guest, Nige Rockett of Onslaught. So on my show, I have a nice little segment I like to call the 3 random silly question segment. Are you ready to take part in this?
Yeah, sure.
Don't
Let's
worry,
do it.
we won't get too wild.
That's okay.
All right. Question number one is pretty simple. Favorite breakfast food?
Oh, full English breakfast, if you know what that is. It constitutes bacon, sausages, eggs, toast, and beans generally. I guess maybe some mushrooms or a hash brown. So, but that would be my perfect breakfast with a nice pint of cold beer.
That's awesome right there. I just actually because I was interviewing Haxon the other day, and I said my go-to breakfast right now is French toast. I've been really craving
Yeah.
that, and I didn't know that wasn't that popular in UK or Wales.
No, no, not really. No, not for breakfast. No, not at all.
Yeah, that kind of because to me that was just like a universal thing, but I guess I'm so sheltered here in the states.
Oh, I did like my breakfasts when we were on tour in the States. When I used to go, I think we used to go. I can't remember which one we used to go to, but I used to love the blueberry pancakes. Man, they were amazing.
Oh yeah. The blueberry syrup, blueberry pancakes is what my
Yeah,
friend used
yeah.
to
You
do.
got to watch your waistline. That's the problem when you start on that.
Yeah, right. All right, question number two. What is your biggest pet peeve while on tour?
My biggest.
Like pet peeve, like something that bothers you. It's like a
Oh,
minor annoyance.
um, people leaving dirty clothes around on a tour bus. You know,
Oh,
if
like
you got
slugs.
yeah, you got you got 18 guys on a tour bus, and there's like some real bad socks left around in the living areas. It's like that really gets my back up. So yeah, the dirty clothes on a tour bus isn't good.
That's funny. We had a friend where apparently whenever she came home, she would like put her keys on the counter, throw her shoes somewhere, throw her jacket somewhere else, throw her purse somewhere else, right?
Oh
And
god.
her parents always used to call her the slug because she would just leave a trail of whatever. It was
Okay,
so good.
okay, I'll remember that one. That's cool. I like that.
All right, and question number three. What metal band should have their own candy bar, and what would it be called?
Oh. Wow, man. Oh dear. I'm trying to think of what Onslaught candy bar now.
Here we go. Marketing
Oh,
opportunity.
yeah. Um, all I can think of is I have to call it something like sweet as hell. I don't know. That was a tough question.
Yeah, I've been getting that a lot. Actually, what kind of inspired me to like ask this question is I was just sitting at home one day and I heard it was every time I die. I'm not sure if you're familiar with them, but I thought of the every time I crunch bar. I mean, it's not a good name. It's pretty awful, but it just made me laugh.
Yeah, awful thing.
So I had to ask that.
Cocoa from Hell might be good.
Exactly. I when I think of the Onslaught bar, I just think of like something packed with everything in it: caramel, peanut butter, nuts. You name it, just onslaught of just sweetness.
Yeah, come on. Oh dear.
For
Yeah.
any candy companies listening to the show right now, let's get this in the works.
Yeah, I'll have to think on that one. That was a tough question,
There we
but
go.
I shall think on that one. I might make one up myself actually because I do like to cook now and again. So
Well, you mentioned that you're a coffee drinker. Have you ever thought of getting your own blend?
no, I haven't actually, but I love Colombian coffee is my favorite. We played last year, I think October, in a place called Manizales in Colombian mountains, and it's supposed to be the best coffee in the world allegedly. And I brought some of that back. It was so cheap, but oh god, it was so good. It was amazing. So that's not a bad idea. If we return that, might see if we can hook up and get on Onslaught coffee. That would be cool.
What was the name of that coffee again?
It was a place called where we went to was Manizales was the city we played.
Ah,
Um,
okay.
in the mountains, but they say the best coffee in the world comes from Manizales. So I bought a few different brands when we were there, and it was so good.
That's
So
sick.
yeah, the amazing place. But yeah, the coffee was so good.
Well, I see a lot of metal bands teaming up with David Ellefson of Megadeth because he has Ellefson Coffee Co. and he has a bunch of like blends and stuff going out there. So maybe you guys can work on a blend.
Oh right, I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yeah, Ellefson's the coffee guy.
Yeah, he's also is he not a minister or something? So
Yeah,
I
right.
don't. Yeah, I don't. I think he might
Gotcha.
not want to talk to me.
Gotcha.
But yeah,
Well, that was the random silly question segment. I hope you enjoyed that. And
yeah, cool.
before I let you go, is there anything else that you want to mention? Anything you want to tell your fans to look forward to?
I just like to say everybody to be safe and take care. You know, it's still a bad time out there, and we don't want to lose any more people. You know, but let's hope that we can all get back together soon and the shows start and we can all meet up next year. Please check out the new album. I'm sure you're going to love it. And we're going to be playing, as Chris said, maybe all of it. I don't know. We'll look at that. But yeah, please take care of yourselves. And we hope to see you all 2021.
Do you think you guys would do a live stream show? I know that's been a popular thing right now.
We've discussed it. Our album's coming out in Mexico 2 weeks' time, and they've asked us to do a live stream show for them. I think we're a little bit reluctant at the moment. We've looked at some things, and for me, it doesn't work. To me, it would be no different to recording a low budget video as such. I think, which feels when you're doing that as a musician or as a band, it feels really fake, you know.
Yes.
Because we're not getting no feedback from the fans, and it's a kind of thrash metal in particular. It's got this circle of energy between the fans and the band, and you're not going to get that. So I'm kind of really a bit reluctant to try it because I don't think it would get the best out of the band, and you're not going to, just for the sake of it. I don't know. I don't really think it's something that we'd consider, to be honest.
No, I totally agree with you, and you make a valid statement. Thrash metal, when you play that live, the crowd feeds off you, and you feed off the crowd. I totally understand.
Yeah, I don't think it would happen. But never say never. But I don't think so.
Yeah, right. All right, man. Well, thank you for doing this. I really appreciate it, and it was a pleasure talking to you.
Yeah, it's been great, Chris. Thank you. Enjoyed it
so much. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Yeah, take care, mate.